Hey everyone, how are you? So hopefully this technical glitch that was plaguing me in the past is over. So you guys let me know if there's any problems and we'll take it from there. All right, so today we're going to talk about modulating between A major and A minor pentatonic, or A minor and A major pentatonic. So let me just try it. Oh, I got some technical difficulties already. I have no idea what's going on. Let's see what happens today. I've done everything I can, so, oh boy. All right. Is there glitching in the video, everyone? I've done everything I can, and I've been streaming for 2 hours before he went on, so let me know how it goes. All right. If not, I might just have to give up. Don't know what's going on. All right, let's give it a shot. I'm going to start playing. Get my track up. Here we go. Okay, that's what we have. All right. We'll figure it out, but so far so good. Thank God. With all the help that I've gotten from Hermano Bonifazi and Steve Moore helping me out quite a bit too. So we'll see how it goes. All right, I'll stop talking now. All right. So first of all, thank you for being here, everyone. It's good 2 weeks off. So thanks for coming back. Last week I had a gig at the bitter end, and I've just put out a track on my Bandcamp. You heard it in the intro. It's just a blues we did. Kind of that moment where I said, hey, let's just play a blues. And that's what it was. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to throw it on Bandcamp if you want to check it out for $1. And that helps. I'm going to start streaming those. My mic is low. Oh, thank you. My fault. All right, there we go. My bad. All right. See, what I did was I turned off my mic so I didn't get all the bounce back. It's back now. Okay, we're good. All right, thanks for letting me know, guys. I'll start over again. Thanks for being here. Sorry there was some technical difficulties going on lately. I don't know what it was. I had the great help of Hermano Bonifazi and Stephen Moore helping me out with this. So I don't know what's going on. I may have to do a hardwire. Who knows? But it's been working fine. And suddenly it wasn't. So I turned off my mic because I was getting the back, a little bounce back. So I forgot to turn it back on. It's one-man show. A lot's going on. I'm watching the meter of the stream working. So I'm on excellent now. I have an excellent stream. So my doctor will be happy, I'm sure. So, so today, oh yeah, as I was saying, I have the song at the bitter end. You heard the intro. Last week I was off. So I played with my trio, Jeff-McErlain, quartet, Jeff-McErlain, and the Ohms. And I released a single. It was a blues I called on the gig, just to see blues. Hey, you guys want to play a blues? Let's do it. And that's what you heard at the top. It's available on my Bandcamp for just a big $1. And that money goes back into, I'm going to start recording the shows, and we're going to start trying to stream them. So, yeah, I'm going to try to get that going. So, so today I want to talk about a really cool tune by a great guitar player named Michael Landau, if you're not familiar. I think a lot of you guys are familiar with Michael Landau. LA guitar player, you've heard him on a million recordings. Big session guitar player, especially during the 80s and 90s and thousands. And just one of the most fantastic guitar players in the world, and a super nice guy. All right. So the chord progression is pretty hip. Got my 80s guitar tone. So it's a tune called 5 Storks by Michael Landau. And those are the chords right there. It's A minor 7 to G minor 7 to F sharp minor 7. All right, so we have 3 chords. Okay? So what's really kind of cool about this chord progression is we can start to think about changing pentatonic scales or modulating in position and going from A minor pentatonic to A major pentatonic. And if you look at why this would work, well, first we have A minor 7. And A minor 7 is spelled A, C, E, and G. A minor pentatonic is A, C, D, E, and G. So it's the perfect scale over an A minor 7 chord. Right? So we just loop an A minor 7 chord for a sec. You can hear that, just so. Right, so here's A minor pentatonic. Let's turn up my chorus. Right? So that's a great thing to practice if you're not familiar. Just vamping an A minor 7 chord. And a looper is so important. I use a looper all the time to practice. It is the best practice tool you can have, because at any point in time, you just put down a vamp and you start working against it. So once again, a quick thing on looping is you always want to hit the downbeat of your loop. So I'm going to do a loop for you. So it's like 1, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1. So it loops properly. So this is A minor pentatonic. So it works perfectly. Now, the next chord we have is a G minor 7, but that goes by pretty quickly, right? So We spend a lot of time on that. So let's just talk about, we'll get back to the G minor 7, but we play this F sharp minor 7, F sharp minor 7. But if we look at an F sharp minor 7 chord, it's like an A major chord with an F sharp in the bass. Right? So, here we go. So I'm doing the... So I'm going to play A major pentatonic, just right here. It's like F sharp minor, right? Okay, so that's A major. So I'm using A major pentatonic over the F sharp minor 7 chord, which can also be seen as F sharp minor, or it can be seen as an A major chord with F sharp in the bass. All the same thing. So if I have this progression, I'm going through these notes, check out what happens when I get to this G minor 7, which is spelled G, B flat, D, F. A minor pentatonic doesn't have a B flat in it. It also doesn't have an F in it. So when I go to A major pentatonic, we have a B natural, so we can start to add that in there. But right here, the A minor 7, or the A minor pentatonic, works great over the G minor 7 because we're not hitting any notes that are going to clash. Okay, makes sense? So if I look at the chord progression again, and I'm just going to run through the changes. So I have that, right? So A major pentatonic, A minor, sorry, A major, there you go. There's a key note, C sharp major, right? Third on the 1 chord, and that. Right? Those are playing those scales. A minor, A major. So I'm really just playing off of that A major to A minor in one position. The real trick is going to be the C natural, which is your flat third on your A minor chord. And I'm going to go to the A major chord. If I just even look at the chord, I have a C sharp now. So that's really going to be the key difference between the two, right? So, right? So that's really the sound that we're hearing. Now the other notes to me are really just kind of flavor notes because I'm going to play A minor pentatonic over the whole thing except for the C sharp on when I get to the A major pentatonic. So once again, A minor pentatonic, but when I get to that G sharp, the F sharp minor chord, I'm going to play a C sharp on there. Now technically, yes, we can get all nitpick if we want. I can think of it as F sharp minor pentatonic, which it is. But visually, as guitar players, I think it makes more sense if we see A minor pentatonic to A major pentatonic. You can see it as F sharp minor, whichever way you want to do it. I've seen Landau talk about it in a video, and he talks about it as A major to A minor to A major. So, it's 6 of one, half a dozen. But there's always the guy who's going to go, well, isn't that technically F sharp minor? And yes, technically it is, but it sounds the same. Okay, so I'm going to play. Right? It's going to change my C to a C sharp to keep the other notes the same. So let's hear that. Right? that sounds cool too, right? So all I just do is change my A minor pentatonic to what we call an A dominant pentatonic by raising the flat 3 up a half step. So that works perfectly. Flat 3, natural 3, flat 3. Right, so that works great. So between those two, you have all the changes covered. Right? Right? All right, so then the other added notes, that B works really well, except on the B flat. Let's hear that. Track. 1, 2, I'm going to play that B. If I play it in passing, it's okay. Right? It's great on the A chord. I kind of buy it, like, you know, technically it's not right on this. In context, if you're kind of ripping, it sounds good. But the cool note that we can hit on both the chords is going to be the F sharp. Right, because the F sharp is an A minor pentatonic, or well, it's not, it's an A Dorian. But it's also, of course it's in the F sharp minor 7, because it's the root. So if I play the F sharp on both of those chords, it sounds cool. Right, so. I'm going to play F. Let's hear that. Right, so F to me is you can play it as a quick passing tone. Right? You can blow through it, that's fine. But you don't want to sit on the F because it's a terrible note on all of those notes you don't want to spend any time on it. As a chromatic note, you can use it freely, but you don't want to sit on it because it's going to get pretty sour if you do. Okay, so what's my other note? G. Okay, you guys following so far? So A minor pentatonic has a G. And A major pentatonic does not, has the F sharp. Let's hear how the G sounds on both of those, on those 3 chords. I think it's going to sound pretty good because I have a G in my second chord. So. I like it. I like the F sharp on there. Cool, right? So I can play the G. But how about we try a G sharp? That's not in either of those pentatonic scales. Let's hear how that sounds on the F sharp minor 7 chord. Might be interesting. So I'm going to play G natural here. Right? Pretty sweet. So that's pretty cool as an option. So there I'm going from A Dorian to A Ionian. Pretty sweet because I'm mixing in more and more sounds because there's a little ambiguity in the chord progression. So I can add my own sounds to it. Because on that F sharp minor 7, G's cool, but it can sound very bluesy, and that's not a bad thing, of course. But if we add in a G sharp, we suddenly take it, we give it a little bit of a little bit of flavor. We take it out of what people are expecting to hear. So we're already changing keys, A major to A minor to A major, so we can fill in the rest. It's really about that third, and the other notes we can use to taste. So one more time. So A minor pentatonic. Okay, A minor pentatonic is a natural third on the last chord. Now 2 pentatonics, A minor, major. Minor. A major pentatonic. So that's great, the major and minor pentatonic in position. Sounds awesome. Now I'm going to play A minor pentatonic with the F sharp, and then the C sharp on the F sharp minor chord. Right? B. Now, I'm going to use G or G sharp. G sharp. Pretty cool. Yeah. Right? So we have a lot of fun options just over these 3 chords. All right, so that's a lot of info, but here's the way I break it down, as I think hopefully this is clear in my head. I think about what scale is going to work. We're going to talk about pentatonics first. And that's a great way to get you rolling on this. A minor pentatonic to A major pentatonic in position. What you don't want to do is A minor, A major, because then you're just kind of, playing like a capo with the capo thing. You're moving a shape and it's a picture, and you're not really getting into the inner working of the guitar. And as a result, you're not really creating, there's not going to be a lot of lines that connect perfectly, right? So, right? So I can just see how that works. Right? All in that one position allows me to play music as opposed to stuff like fingerings that I know and going from one position to the next position. All right, so then the next thing I'll start to do is, well, what other notes are going to work well in the situation? Does the B sound good? Yeah, it sounds good on the 1 chord. Technically not great on that flat 3 minor 7 chord, or flat 5 minor, flat 7 minor 7 chord. Used in passing, or if you're really hip enough and hearing those changes enough, you can hit the B flat when you're on that chord. Or when you play the pentatonic scales, you're just not playing it at all. And that's kind of a cool thing too. You're just avoiding it and it doesn't become a problem. And then I have the idea of on this last chord, if I'm still playing inside and playing very inside in all this, is I will change from a G to a G sharp, just to change the sound up a little bit. I get that as opposed to an A7 sound, an A major 7 sound. I just like that way that sounds. like a tilt the swing there for a second, right? So A minor. So I played E7, which is, if I put that G sharp in, that's contained in the A major scale. So I'm just thinking about that G sharp in there, and I get some different sounds and flavors, and so it doesn't become as tedious. Now, one thing I think we talked about that I've mentioned to you guys many, many times, if you're jamming along with something like this, and I don't feel good about giving this jam track away because it's not my tune. I made this track, so, you know, it's Mike's tune. I wouldn't want to, you know, that'd be kind of jerky, I think. So I'm just loop it and then start to experiment with what goes on. Like I said, everything is really diatonic to the chords. I'm not playing anything outside. But when I play that G sharp over the F sharp minor 7 chord, I think it really adds a lot of brightness, and it just changes stuff. So as a listener, I don't get bored. All right, I can't remember what I was going to say. Also, if you're jamming over a track, this track doesn't go anywhere. It motors along like many jam tracks. And so to be really creative and build a really great guitar solo, it's difficult to do because you don't have an interaction between you and the band. And, you know, it's practice. It's when you go on a gig and you're interacting with real musicians and they'll follow with you and build things up, that's when the stuff comes to life. But you have to practice it at home and also realize that it's not real. You know what I mean? It's not a real gig situation. So when you listen to someone like Michael Landau play this live, it takes off because the band follows with him, everything gets bigger, and those brightening it up, he might brighten it up at some sections and darken it up a bit, and he'll go very like Hendrixy, for a lack of a better term, and really get vibey. And so I highly recommend checking him out on this. Of course, I highly recommend checking him out on everything because I think he's just such a great guitar player. All right, so the stream seems to be going well. I don't know what happened at the very intro. Yeah, everything was so great for so long. I don't understand. All right. Let's get to some questions. So first of all, let's say hi to everybody who's... Oh, quickly. My friend Rusty Philippus, who I had on... who was here, said hi. My old guitar teacher who has his own YouTube channel, Rusty Philippus. I'm going to be on his YouTube channel for a little interview, kind of conversation, on Saturday at noon. I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, Saturday at noon, Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to hear me and Russ kind of shooting the breeze, and talking about guitar and all that kind of stuff, please join his channel. He's doing live streams, and you know, he's such a great teacher. So much great stuff to learn from Russ. So please go over there and do that. Yeah, Saturday at noon. Okay. All right. So Tom Manette, what's up? Sam Stamos, how's it going on? Steve Moore, of course. Jason Wade, is this lesson available on TrueFire All Access? No. This kind of stuff is going to start happening on my subscription channel, where I go into more detail and have transcriptions and fingerings and background tracks and such. But no, this isn't on TrueFire All Access. Those are only my TrueFire courses, which you could purchase through my website. All right. John Horn, what's going on, man? John Horn's here. Matt Gibson, how you doing, Matt? Quincy, Richard and Sarah. Oh, Keith, what's up, Keith? Keith's fine. We're on. Cup O' Noodles, I like that. S.C. Nesbitt, of course. Richard G, of course. There's Russ. What's going on, Russ? Steve Coleman. Yeah, everybody, my knees hurt. What's going on? All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. So if there's any questions, let me see. What chorus pedal are you using? It sounds good. I am using the Axe Effects. This is all the FM3. So everything you're hearing, there's no real amplifiers being used at the moment. It's the Axe Effects. And here's the chorus. This is their CE2 sound, right? Pretty cool. So here's their Univibe. FM3 is pretty crazy good, guys. Just so you know. Excuse me. Richard Sauer, what's the reason for targeting the G sharp over the F sharp minor 7 chord? Oh yeah, we did cover it, but I'm happy to mention it again. it brightens things up. So the G natural sounds good, but if we imply what the chord would be, right? It's kind of like an A7 with an F sharp in the bass, but if I put in that G sharp, to me that's a much prettier sound. Now, of course, when you bring it up the octave like that and you play it in context, it's going to take on its own sound. The fact that the chord doesn't play the G or the G sharp gives me the option to do both. And I will do both on a tune like this just to change up the flavor of the solo. And I think that John Horn had said that it brightens it up when I use the G sharp, as opposed to the G being a little more typical, a little more bluesy, a little darker. So yeah, I really like the sound of that. Ever jam with Eric Gales or collaborate? Nope. No, I've actually never met him. I'm sure I will at some point, but no, I've never met him. Never met the man. So he's a great guitar player, of course, but I've never met him. When switching to major and minor, this is from Brazil Brush Rocks. Okay, what's up, man? Thanks for being here as always. When switching to major and minor, do some notes work better than others as a transition? Do you pivot on common notes like the fifth, or do you shift from major and minor third? That's a really good question. So to kind of sum that up, you did sum it up well, but I'm not reading it as well as I could probably. So do I target notes between the two chords, or what do I use to transition? And the answer would be yes to both. So if you think about it, like A works in both, or through all three of those chords. So it's got to mean E works great on all these chords. So there's notes that are going to ring across the two. I like the F sharp. A little weird on that G, but the main sound, if I really want to accentuate the sound between the major and the minor, I'm going to target that major third on the F sharp minor chord. Let's hit it right there, right? And what's also cool about doing that is you're hearing where the major third is, or where the change in the tonality comes in the chord progression. So you're playing along, and then you're hearing it, you know where it's coming, and you jump on it and you get it at the right time. So just a real quick, the word tonality is, this is my little bugaboo, proper usage of it. We're changing the tonality, meaning is the chord major or minor. So the tonality, we're going from a major, minor tonality to a major tonality. So there you go. All right. Okay, so any more questions? I thought there'd be some more questions on this. All right. What I will also do when I'm playing with this is, I started talking about A minor pentatonic right here, and A major. Then you want to go to the next position. A minor, A major pentatonic, A minor up here, right? Ooh. What do I know? Right, then up to A minor. So as I see, when I'm changing between the both of them, I know it in each position. So A major to A minor. Really, 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 really cool way to practice some of these ideas. Like I said, you want to jump around from one fingering to the next, because that doesn't really work, because then you can see really A minor, A major, right? Now, of course, there's triads. A minor to A major triad, all these things that are contained inside of that. And we can start running deeper, but right off the bat, I would just start working through the major and minor pentatonics, which I teach a lot, and I found the majority of people I hit with this kind of exercise have a problem navigating this, especially in all keys, or in all positions, I should say. So, all right. Okay. Okay, about phrase, this is from Dan Holland. Or actually, I'll get right back to that one. Conceptually, this is from Guitar GPA. Conceptually, how do you differentiate between what you were discussing and playing the A Dorian and adding the C or a G sharp, C sharp, G sharp? Okay, you know, basically, how do I differentiate what I'm thinking about? Here's really what I'm thinking about. Sounds kind of pompous and it takes a while to get there. I just know the right notes to play on each of the chords. And I don't mean that in like, oh, I just happen to know. I mean because I've practiced the shit out of it, right? I've played this stuff a lot and figured out what works and what doesn't. Essentially what it comes down to, if you want to think modally, I'm largely playing A Dorian to A Ionian or A Mixolydian. So we start to see what those two notes cross over between the two. Or I could be thinking A minor 7 to A major 7. But the point of doing it first with the pentatonic scale is there's less chance of hitting a wrong note. And it's a great way to get into using those scales other than playing things like blues licks, right? Because when people say pentatonic scales, we immediately think, you know, usually, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Of course, we can play that over this tune, but how many times have you went from A minor to A major as a pentatonic scale? I think that's a great way to start. Maybe a little easier to think than thinking A Dorian to A Ionian or A Mixolydian, depending on what flavor you want. So I think about the third, and do I want a flat 7 or a natural 7? So like I said, it may sound, I don't want to sound, I'm trying not, it sounds pompous, but not really. Like, you know, I always hate art. Here's what I'm thinking. I remember I had an old friend who would teach guitar at a workshop, and somebody said, what scale do you use? And he's like, I use the chromatic scale. And you're like, well, yeah, everybody uses the chromatic scale, but you can't just say, I just use the chromatic scale. So what I'm basically thinking in my head is an A major tonality to an A minor tonality. And then the rest of it is what tonality I want to, how I want to define that major tonality or the minor one. Do I want the minor one to be straight pentatonic or Dorian, or do I want the major one to be a Mixolydian sound, so the two scales have the G in common, or do I want to change it a little bit and put a G sharp in there and get the natural 7. I mean, you could experiment with Lydian on the A major chord, so you can get like a, you know, add in a sharp 4. So as long as you're getting really C to C sharp, you're kind of on the money. Okay, hopefully that was a good answer to. It's a good question. But it's a long question. Okay. All right. This is the other question I wanted to get to. Where'd it go? Hold on. I saw it here. A conceptual question. Okay. Dan Holland, about phrasing on the beat before and after beat triplets, 16th century, etc. You know, I phrase a lot starting on an offbeat, as do most, I think, blues and jazz musicians, because you're thinking like, you know, 1, 1, as opposed to 3, 4, and 1. I might start it off 1. And very often, and then a downbeat, that's to me that C sharp would be on a downbeat going to the A major chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right? That's the strongest. You don't have to always do that, but that's that really strong feeling resolving on a downbeat. I may not always start on a downbeat because I think that can sound a little lame, Not as interesting. It adds forward motion in my mind, starting that offbeat. It just kind of makes everything sound much hipper right off the bat. Listen to everybody. Very rarely do like blues and jazz guitar players always start on a downbeat. Okay. Do I think about 16th notes and triplets? Yeah, sure. When I'm going to solo over this, I will sometimes just play the scales and use my rhythmic subdivisions over them. But yeah, to be able to kind of go, you know. Of course, I'm never going to solo like that, but it kind of helps to run rhythmic, running your 16th notes and triplets and things like that over the top of it. But sometimes it leads to you playing like that, which doesn't sound so good to me. All right. So what's up? You guys are talking about surgery. Okay. Any tips for, this is Phil Jones, any tips for phrasing over the chords like this, making it sound like you're playing tunes? Do you have a set of phrases you've used a lot that you draw upon? Not necessarily like, not stock things on this, but I will definitely listen to a lot of players. I listen to Michael Landau and all the guys I like. But one thing I was kind of doing that helps with your phrasing, I was targeting a downbeat of that major pentatonic sound. And I'm also trying to think over the bar line. I'm trying not to play blues licks. I'm trying to think of a line that might take me through and then resolve. So kind of like, kind of winging this. So A minor, right? So I'm gonna go, it's like. So I'm gonna keep going, like. See what I mean? So I'm going to carry that line further than I might have initially. Because if you're thinking, you know, which can sound cool, but those are shorter phrases. So I'm going to think about playing into the next phrase. And it might just even be going down the scale. See, as I made that phrase. Right? Then, right? Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Right, so I'm going to try to carry the phrase out longer and target the chord change. Hopefully that helps with the idea, but also I'm just listening to other guys. I listen to Michael Landau, who's a master phraser. But you notice, like, I wasn't playing a lot of blues licks, so I don't think really work really well in this, and then they miss the point. So listening a lot, but trying to write some lines or work on ideas that extend the phrase past what you might normally play. And I think that's when you talk about phrasing, that's what I hear. These longer ideas, lines, things that carry you through the changes. All right. Tom Annette, hey man, glad you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you. BB, what's up, man? How you doing? Thank you for BB kindly put me in touch with Mick over at that pedal show. So when the world opens up and I get to England, I've been invited on. So that's very nice. Thank you for that, BB. Jeff does not sing ever. Well, I just got a tour in the Czech Republic coming up in March. So I will probably be singing on some of that. So I'll keep you guys more informed, my European friends, if that expands out of the Czech Republic. You know, you only live once. I get an offer to play in the Czech Republic. I've never been to Prague. I've been to Europe many times, but I have not been to the Czech Republic. So I'm looking forward to that. See if we can expand that out into Switzerland and Germany. And then certainly to my great friend Hermano, who is not online right now because he's watching the football game. Get down to Italy and maybe do a gig or two in a clinic. So I will keep you guys all well informed about that. But that's in the works. And so yeah, cool. Okay, this is from Richard Zeri. How do you avoid weird sounding phrases when targeting tones over non-diatonic chords? Well, I practice playing over those chords. That's, you know, not to sound like the obvious, but I practice playing over those chords, so when I actually have to do it, I hopefully don't hit as many wrong notes. What I will do is find the notes that will not interfere with that chord. If I want to think more broadly in terms of like a pentatonic scale, I'll try to find the notes that I can play over all those. Like we kind of noted that B, even on that B flat, play it kind of smoothly and fly over it, it's fine. Any note will work kind of as a passing tone. Or I will actually concentrate on doing that. So let's see if I can do that. So here's the A, right? So I target that B flat. One more time, so. So. Oh, let's give that. Right, so I'll just target that B flat, so when it comes along, I know I can hit it where it was at. Okay, so I'll practice. That's the best answer I can say. All right. Oh. Phil, banging some guys out. All right. I don't understand why anybody would troll. All right. Anyway, what do I know? Okay, so yeah, what I was also thinking about here was I'm playing through this stuff. I've been listening to Michael Landau. Let me just sing Michael Landau's praises because he's one of my favorite guitar players. And it was funny, Robin and I were going to do a workshop together. He's like, oh, I should get a third guitar player. What do you think? I'm like, let's get Landau. And he's like, you know he's like the best guitar player on the planet, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, just letting you know. I said, yeah, so what? You know, let's hang out with him. And it never really panned out because I don't know if Mike likes doing clinics and things. But it's funny, Robin's like, you sure you want to do that? I don't think we want to do that. So I love that Robin considers him probably the best all-around guitar player. And I do too. I think he's just really spectacular. So what I like about him is, well, many things. I like his tunes and his phrasing and his music and his playing and all that stuff. But he gets a lot of great sounds out of the guitar. He's a really super dynamic guitar player who mixes a lot of fusion and jazz elements, but is clearly like a rock guy. So I've really learned a lot from him over the years. I was first introduced knowingly to his guitar playing. Like he played on a bunch of hit tunes like Oh Sherry by Steve Perry and a bunch of other tunes. So I'd heard him, and we've all heard his playing for many years. But it was the Live 2000, Live at the Baked Potato, Live the 2000 record that I've been listening to for like 20 years. When it first came out, I don't know who turned me on to it. And it was one of those guys I'm like, yeah, he's doing what I want to do, which is kind of funny. You know, there's more of a rock-based thing, Stratocaster-based. But he's always working his tone knob and his volume knob. But one thing that from he and Jeff Beck and Roy Buchanan, like, you know, playing near the bridge. You know, really kind of having fun with the sounds of the guitar, changing the pickup, you know, doing. He does a lot of that cool Jeff Beck-esque, right? So, you know, that kind of sound with the bar. And he's just great if you guys are not familiar with him. Probably most of you guys are here are familiar with Mike Landau's guitar playing. This is Steve Moore. So just practice the basic pentatonic scales and target particular notes to see if they work the overall phrasing of the song. Pretty much, yes, exactly. But you want to make sure you hit that natural third on the F sharp minor 7 chord or the A major chord with a F sharp in the bass. That's what you want to make sure, because that's the real trick. Every other note will kind of work, but that's the one. If I had a C natural, that's not a good note. So you want to make sure we get that. Right? So that's pretty cool to kind of switch it up. All right. I'm so glad that the stream is actually working again. I don't know what happened at the beginning. Gotta try to figure this out more. I don't know what has been a little choppy at the beginning. Anyway, any more questions, guys? I've been kind of chilling for an hour. It's great to be back. Oh, the gig. Yeah, we got a number of gigs coming up. I'm going to probably be back at the bitter end in New York about a month or so. I don't want to do too many back to back because it's hard to get people to come down. People are like, oh, you should get a weekly gig. A weekly gig's rough, because usually they give you a weekly gig and you get it at like 11 o'clock on a Monday night. Like, hey, everybody come on down. You know what I mean? Come on down, at 11 o'clock on a Monday night. John Horn, doesn't Michael Landau play with Steve Gadd's band? Yeah, he plays with Steve Gadd's band. He plays, he's been the guitar player for James Taylor for a really, really long time too. So that's, check him out with James Taylor as well. Sons of Sound was saying you can see Landau play. He's got that liquid quartet, which is really good. And I really like that new record. The past two records are the live one and then the studio one, Michael Landau Liquid Quartet. And it's really good. I mean, really good songwriting and great guitar playing. It's not just, his songs aren't just like vehicles for soloing. They're really well-written, cool tunes. All right, so yeah, talk about my gig, which I just want to talk about that for a minute. It was a ton of fun to play out again. It was really a bit rusty. As I've talked to a number of my friends who are starting to play again, they're like, oh man, like it's crazy to start digging into playing again, and because there's gig chops and then there's practice chops, and they're not the same thing. So it's always about halfway into your gig or near the end, you're like, oh, I'm starting to feel good, and now suddenly the gig is over. But I thought this one went really well. There's going to be more coming up. I will let you know, Robin offered, he asked, he said, hey, let me go play a gig with you at the bitter end. So at some point in the not too distant future, Robin will be joining me in New York at the bitter end for a gig or two, and that'll be a ton of fun. I'm twisting Dave Grissom's arm to do the same, so I think that's going to happen once things start to open up. Things are really opening up in New York, which is great. We're also, everybody's asked, thank you very much, people have asked about live streaming it. They're working on it, and if that doesn't happen, I'll just try to get it happening, because I'd love to stream it here. Now, another question I do have for you guys, things are starting to open up, right? And people are going back to work. Is this a good time? This was a perfectly fine time when at least I started doing this, and in the States, it was pretty heavy lockdown for everybody. As things are slowly starting to open up, is there a time, I'm just going to throw this out there, that might be a better time to do a live stream, or is this the perfect time? I don't know. I want to try to get as many people on at one time. I know everybody's got locked into this time for over a year. And once again, I'm always saying thank you so much to everybody for being here, and the community that we've all helped build. I really super appreciate. It's obvious. Obvious. It's marvelous. It's so marvelous. This is a same as, ain't it marvelous? So I said my mind saw the word marvelous. So, but it is marvelous, the community that's been built up here, and I super appreciate everyone. And let me know what you think in terms of times. This is fine for a lot of people in here too. Thomas retired, and I know people in Europe, it's fine. I don't need to change it, just that I think that you guys are, what you think is good. Okay, so once again, I put out that live blues tune if you want. It's $1 over on Bandcamp. Phil's got the link here. it's just live from my friend's iPhone, so nothing big, you know, but it's fun, totally improvised. Like I said, I just said, hey, you guys want to play a blues? And they're like, all right, let's do a blues. And so there it was. All my TrueFire courses are available through my website, jeffmcearlain.com. You enter live 20, you get 20% off. And I appreciate everyone who's done that. I appreciate all the support that everybody has given me. And I'll definitely be back next week. Now we seem to have gotten technical difficulties worked out thanks to Romano and Stephen Moore. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 4 p.m. Wednesday. I'm cool with this, you know. I also don't want to start to interfere with some of my friends or other guys who have a long time had time slots like on a Saturday morning or a Sunday or something like that. So I don't want to interfere with that. And I kind of like my weekends off. It's just, musicians never get weekends off, so it's cool. But speaking of this weekend though, Saturday, Eastern Standard Time, I will be on my friend Rusty Philippus. I'm going to have Russ on, my old guitar teacher. He's trying to build up his YouTube channel. I'm going to do a little live stream. He's going to interview me, or we're going to hang out and chat. So if you go over there and check it out, I'd really appreciate it. And if you know, you could subscribe to Russ's channel, that would be cool. Do you plan on launching a subscription channel? When am I doing that? That's a great question. I am planning on doing it, and I'm going to be, I'm really honest with you guys, as opposed to lying to you. It's after a year of sitting in front of a camera, it's hard sometimes to get the motivation like, oh, okay, I've been sitting in front of a camera all week. Now I'm going to sit in front of a camera and film more stuff. So I'm just being honest, like, so it's a matter of working out my time and putting aside the time to build up the channel. I have tons of ideas. I've started filming some stuff. I think it's going to be really great. And here's the plan that I have for it. You know, everybody knows me as a blues guitar player, and I love that too, but I really want to have the channel be very educational, you know, in the sense that, you know, I want you guys to learn something. You know, go there and go, oh man, I learned something completely new as opposed to some licks. So it'd be a little more conceptual as opposed to like, you know, here's this solo, learn this guitar solo. I really want it to be ideas and kind of like we're talking about right here. Talking about changing from major pentatonic to minor pentatonic, working through those sounds, how you can do that best, how you can dig inside chord progression, how you look at things. So I have a lot of great ideas. It's just a matter of getting to film it. I don't want to sound like, oh, woe is me, I'm busy, it's hard to film. It's just, they take a lot of time. I edit the video and film the video and do the audio. And so it becomes, it is very time consuming. So it's a matter of putting aside that time and still making a living. So that's really what it comes down to. So you guys want to know, I really appreciate it. And I will be having one launch soon. Tomo. So you just put, I'm going to, Tom Manette, I just put Jeff. I know Tomo. Tomo is, are you talking about referring to Tomo Fujita? He's got a subscription channel. It's a great dude. He's worked his butt off for that whole thing, which is great. I know Robin's launched one. A few of my friends have them. And, you know, talking to Tim Pierce has been very helpful with me about talking about how to what his channel looks like. So it is the goal to get that rolling soon. How's that for me pushing it down the road a bit? But it's all there. It's going to be like a platform called Teachable. I just had a few courses that I have to get done. I'm going to TrueFire down in August, Florida in August, to film 2 new TrueFire courses. So I'm looking forward to that. And I got it around here again while people are still hanging on. So what would you see from like fusion-y courses, like expanding upon more of these ideas as opposed to bluesy things? You know, I love playing rock and roll, but my heart at the moment is a little bit more in the kind of blues and the stuff we're playing now, you know, that kind of fusion-y things. I'm just thinking about what you guys would really like to see the most. So I love the feedback. I've discussed a lot of things about blues in all my True Fire courses. Now, I think I kind of want to dig deeper into expanding the vocabulary and jumping out of the pentatonic scales. So let me know your thoughts on that as well. All right, so any final questions? And thanks again, all the guys. Some of you guys bought the t-shirts and the mugs. It's funny, I was supposed to get a mug, my own mug, my Jeff McErlain mug, and I get it in my, I know my letter carrier, she's really cool. She's like, I don't think you want this. And it's like, it's all rattly. So I sent it back even before opening it. So I haven't actually seen one, but I've sold a number of those, and all the guys bought the t-shirts and all the courses. I really appreciate that as well. All right. So thanks, and I will see you guys next week. And you guys are the best. Thanks so much to Phil Mingan and everyone who's been here, and I will see you guys later. Thanks.